Hello, welcome to bed 50. This bed is the brassicas that have been covered. I have not been in here to clean it out, but I need to get in here. I need to open this up. I still see the little white butterflies, which I always assume are cabbage worms, or will create cabbage worms. This is a simple system for me. Although controversial, I know. This is just simple plastic conduit. And then I bought these clips. Let's see, can you see the clip? I'm never sure if I'm showing it right. See, these are the clips. So that's the PVC piping. And then these are the clips that just kind of snap on top of them. The benefit is you can attach your cloth or fabric, your screening to the top. And now you can get into your bed. It's going to be a little bit of a struggle here because I've got more clips than I realized. The other thing with these beds is the center of them on the edges is kind of, well, it isn't kind of, it is stuck to the ground with the landscape. So yeah, it takes a little bit to get into this bed. That's why it doesn't get weeded as much. So let's get to weed popping. Looks like it's just some grasses so far. Some other miscellaneous weeds. This bed shouldn't be too bad. It was heavily mulched, although I can see that the mulch is breaking down already. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about one of the weeds that I have that's usually a problem, and that is your weeds that have really, really strong root systems. Now, I'm not talking about this crabgrass that just really sticks to the soil well. I'm talking about your thistles, your chicories, your thistles, chicories, other plants, and of course I don't have any examples in here. That would be too easy. But yesterday I was pulling out some weeds that had really extensive root systems, and it wasn't, the root systems weren't noticeable. Like you could pull the weed, so you can pull the weed and you didn't notice that there was a lot of root system. And I think I identified the plant yesterday as chicory. I will go over and get some to show you. I pulled it out, and I will treat it just like I treat my thistles. Those roots, morning glories, that's what I was thinking of. The morning glories have a really extensive root. They may seem light and dainty, but when you dig down and find the so-called parent rhizome or the parent root, or like I said, technical isn't my thing. I've just been doing it for so long. You need to get as much of that out of there as possible. So, but right now these are mostly surface. Most of this is just crabgrass that got in here. This weed, which I need to identify still. Let's see what the root system on this one looks like. I haven't identified this plant yet. But you know what? You don't need to identify a plant to know sometimes it's a weed. You need to identify it to make sure that it's safe to handle. And see, this doesn't come to anything. So this is another weed that I see constantly. Let's see if I can get this into focus. And I will look it up. A little dirt on there. It makes the hard identification sometimes harder. So there's a picture of the plant. It's got a red stem. It's got somewhat of a good root system, but it doesn't seem to have that super thick rhizome. And then here's another one that came up. These come up everywhere for me. I'm going to post the name when I figure it out. Again, sometimes you don't need to know the name of the weed to know that it's a weed. In this bed is my brassicas, and the reason for the tarp is I get a lot of those white little tiny butterflies. Those white, oh, see, this one did have a good root. Look at that. It's going off to the side. So maybe I really do need to identify this one. Just so that I know. Just so I know. It's got this wrong root runner coming off of it. Teeing right off of it. So, but a red stem. That's the top. It's probably a common weed. But if it wasn't for weeds, I wouldn't be out here. If every plant you planted never had a weed, there'd be no fun in gardening, honestly. Half the fun is digging around these plants, finding out what they are. And even not just what they are, just making your garden look pretty. Like, making sure your plants have the best. They're not competing for water, and they're not competing for space. They're not competing for sunlight. And you're growing the best plant you can. So when I'm done with this side, I will work on the other side. But as I was saying, we get these little white, they're like little white butterflies. And we jokingly used to call them the cat's butterflies because they would get in the house. We would get in the house, and that is, I think, a black swallowtail. Okay, intermission here. We'll identify it. Very pretty. Likes the echinacea, or he. Oh, as a matter of fact, there's one of the little white butterflies now. Okay, I can edit this here. Let's see if we can see it. Where that butterfly went. So there's these little white butterflies, and I know them as the cat's butterflies because I used to get in my house all the time, and my one cat couldn't get enough of them. Like you'd say bug. Oh, there's the white butterfly. You'd say bug, and she would just go flying. I don't know if you can see that on camera. It's a little white kind of looking butterfly, but I know it as cabbage moth. I could be wrong. We can check it out. But when that lands on your brassicas, if you've ever had cauliflower that has little worms in it, that's it. So you want to kind of keep that out of your garden. Or not, maybe not out of your garden. I don't care if it's in the garden. You want to keep them off your brassicas. So now I'm seeing that bug and I'm going, don't you come over here. They're actually drawn to the brassicas because that is a preferred source for their larvae or their little worms. Boy, that other weed is everywhere. I have to get to it. I'm starting to see it everywhere. I've probably seen it before, but now that I'm doing these videos, I'm paying more attention to what I'm doing. Unfortunately, this is all hidden back here. There are some thistles. I'll throw them aside. There's some more of these plants. Now this one almost has the same top to it. I think the leaf structure is different, but it's got a green stem. But then it's red at the bottom. So maybe it's above ground and below ground. I'm not sure. I don't want to introduce this into my garden. Right now I'm keeping an eye out for those white butterflies, and they'll probably be going crazy behind my head while this is happening. So, and all I'm doing is I'm removing this so that they don't compete with water and nutrients and sunlight. But I also do it because I like a neat tiny bed. I think I said it before, I love the pictures of the old formal gardens. And I always said I wanted to do that with my vegetables, so that is what I'm doing. But to get back to the weeds, when you find a weed that has a very thick stalk, your morning glory, your thistles, or even some of your runner plants, like your grasses, you want to get as much of the root as possible. Now, things like chicory have deep roots. Their main stems are usually a little bit deeper in the ground. Now, the issue that I have with chicory, although it is a beneficial plant, all plants can be beneficial, just maybe not to your garden, maybe someplace else in the world, or is that sometimes if you chop those roots up with, say, a tiller, you have just multiplied your problem because now you have all these little bits. I did that in a garden once. I'm waiting for traffic to go by. What had happened was what's a tree? I had a space out front where I was planting a tree and did not realize that I had weeds in there. And it was chicory, of all weeds. I do believe it was chicory. I don't know. They probably didn't do plant identifications 10, 15 years ago, or at least not cheap and easy ones like, a simple search. And I spotted the root. I spotted little pieces of this root, and I thought, I chopped it up. It's not going anywhere. Well, it did. It instantly started to sprout all over the bed, and I kept trying to keep up on it and keep up on it. At the time, I was working full time. So my garden was, anybody out there that works knows something has to go, something has to give. Well, my garden gave, and I ended up with a disaster on my hands. So, okay, well, we're going to count this side. No, maybe there's just a little bit more. There's always a little bit more, Joanne. There is always a little bit more. Just in case I didn't introduce myself, I'll try to do it again. My name is Joanne. I have 67 raised bed gardens, or raised beds in my garden. I was thinking about how to say that because it always sounds weird. So they range in size from 4 foot by 3 foot, which is 1.2 meters by 0.91 meters when I did the calculation. Okay. All right, so I'll switch it to the other side. And this is a simple system with just this. I think I got 100 foot of cloth and I cut it in half. Or maybe it was 50, maybe it was 50 feet. And I cut it in half because it was cheaper than buying. This is a 16 foot bed. So sometimes you just have to compare your prices. And then if this one goes bad, I do have a spare. I don't usually grow more than one bed of brassicas right now. I don't think I've ever grown more than one bed of brassicas. I grow things that I like, and then I always grow things that disappoint me. And brassicas sometimes are that. They get too hot, wrong times. So I'm going to switch it to the other side here so you can see the other half of the bed. Okay. Okay. The noise that sounds like aliens is actually the little electric cars going by, so I'm not being invaded. Well, maybe I am. It's just a simple tension that holds this on. Now, while I'm doing this, if a moth gets in there, I'm not going to panic about it. Okay. Good. Now, I know there's some controversy in the growing world about using the PVC pipes, but I bought these before. One, I realized there was controversy. And two, I would have bought the metal pipes, but they're so expensive. And then you've got to have the strength to bend them. So sometimes you just have to stop and take a moment and realize, what are you really up against? What are you trying to do? I could have built my garden beds out of concrete, but I didn't. I could have gotten metal beds, but I didn't. It all depends on what you have, what your resources are at the time. And you never want to overextend yourself. You don't want to go, you can easily go broke in a garden. And even though that $200 tomato may taste the best tomato you ever tasted every year, it's still a $200 tomato. And unless you had that money to waste, a seed pack doesn't cost much. I highly recommend, if you're going to start gardening, you start with something simple, something that somebody tells you this is foolproof, and then throw that idea out and go with something that you're going to eat or like. Because if it's something that you're going to eat or like, it's something you're going to tend to. Don't just get something because somebody told you to. Weed pop. Most of this is grass in here and some of that other weed that I pointed out. The other thing that you're doing when you're weeding is you're looking at your plants. You're looking, do they have a lot of bug damage? Do they have anything that's making the leaf look funny? Now, before you worry about a pest, a disease, the first thing you're going to do is remove that leaf because it is not doing your plant any good. So let's go back here. This leaf here, it's all yellowed. I mean, it's got some firmness to it, but honestly, I don't really think it's doing the plant any good anymore. This leaf here has a bite mark in it. It's okay. It can stay. It doesn't look that bad. Here's another bad leaf. Once the leaf gets to a point where it's just so brown or so damaged, the plant is trying to repair itself. So the plant is trying to keep this leaf alive. The fact that you are able to pull it off actually very easily means that the plant's ready to let it go. It's not doing the plant well. Now, there are some leaves that stick on. I will tell you, be careful with tomatoes. Sometimes they'll pull off really easy, but many of the times if you pull them wrong, they will actually rip the stem of your plant. So be careful removing those. But when you're weeding, this is a perfect time to find these leaves that aren't helping your plants. See this one? These will click off, so I'm not worried about cutting them. See, that one's not good, doing the plant any good. So just get it out of there. You're giving your pests a way into your plant when you leave these leaves. Leave the leaves. Is that one of those tongue twisters? Maybe. When you leave the leaves that are bad, you're giving, or that are damaged, you're just giving pests a target, and you're giving diseases an in. So it's just best to remove them. Just like it's best to remove your weeds, because then you increase the airflow around your plants. Now, there is a caveat to removing weeds. You want to be careful with weeds that are near very close to your plant. This one happens to be underneath the leaf. If it's near the root system, this is where you really want to catch those weeds small, because which I did. I actually came through this bed and did just the middle of it because I was running out of time. But these with extensive roots, you don't want to be pulling them if they're near your plant. That will disturb your root system of your plant, and now your plant will have to heal itself underground where you can't see it. So be very careful with your weeds. I do love pulling weeds, but I love pulling them smaller. These just happen to get a little too far. But again, they're not in the plants. The plants are starting to shade the area, so the weeds are less likely to come up because they're not getting the sunlight they need for germination. Hi, Nikki. Why exactly are you bringing me a dustpan? That is not a dustpan? What is that?
Sticker.
It's a sticker?
Sticker.
Oh, it's a cigger? What's a cigger?
Sticker.
Oh, okay. Very good.
It's up here.
It's off of there? Do we need that? Are you going to clean up the leaves for me? Okay. Okay, my supervisor has shown up, and he's walking the gardens. And now he's left. Just like every supervisor, it might be time for his break already. I'm so glad I don't work anymore. I've worked at some very nice places for quite a long time. And I shouldn't have left, but I did. And then I worked at some really places where I just never felt comfortable. That whole corporate politics thing. Nah. I never liked that. Okay. And here was a dead leaf sitting on top of a good leaf. So we want to get that out of here too. Let's get this guy out of here. Hello, Jane. Are you coming to help me? What would you like to do today? Huh? I'm hoping that white butterfly doesn't come back. I hope it doesn't, because it's a cabbage moth. And they leave little worms on my cabbages, and then they leave big giant holes. Although I don't know if I grew cabbage this year. I think I did.
That was a cabbage moth?
Yes, that little white one is called a cabbage moth. But you know what? I will double check it for the internet since I'm recording. Does that sound good? What in? Get my hands on here. Whoops, sorry. Okay. My daughter is awesome. She wants to help me improve my YouTube.
Okay, I'll come.
You give me some good criticism. And she tells me that they're not exciting enough. Do we need to have a dance party or something? What? Oh. What would make this exciting? Should we have dance off or something? Or the floor is lava? Ah! No, I am a weirdo.
Bumblebee.
A bumblebee, yes. Oh, there's one of those white butterflies. Let's get this covered up before it comes back.
Now that's just about.
That is, it's a cabbage moth. And these are all brassicas, all belong to the cabbage family. Oh, look at, there's two of them. They're saying to themselves, oh, she's got some good cabbage over there.
No, we got swallowtail.
Yeah, but those little white ones are cabbage moths. The ones on the lavender right now.
Okay, bye.
All right, thank you for helping me. Oh, let's get the...
Moth can get over there.
I know, I gotta still fix it, honey. Okay, let's fix this up. Whoops. The whole end is here. Ah! I'm pulling them. Okay, well, I guess we're done with this bed then. The other reason why I don't like to weed this bed often is because sometimes these clips will actually damage the fabric if you start pulling them out. Little zinnia, come here. Look at that pretty flower. On the wrong side. There you go. It jumped when I put I snapped the thing and it was like, ah. All right. So the brassicas are safe and sound again. They're weeded, except for the corners here. Eh, that one's stuck. They get stuck in between the wood. All right, what do you think, Jane? Does that look good? Do we have to do a quick floor is lava? Or do we have to do a dance break? Okay, maybe I shouldn't dance on camera. I think I could get arrested for craziness.
No.
I can't get arrested for craziness? Okay. All right, that was bed number 50. And that's Jane helping me. She says hello. Okay. Bye for now. That bed is done. Bed number 50.